Good evening. I'm Dean Hunter, and this is ResistTV. All across America, members of Congress from both sides of the aisle found themselves confronted by angry constituents demanding town hall meetings to find out their representatives' positions on the policies of the Trump administration. The Trump administration has purported that these were professional protesters. In fact, it goes so far as to say they were paid $1,500 each by George Soros. Well, today we're joined by one of the individuals who was involved in organizing or demanding one of those town halls, Maureen Hains from the Virginia 7th District.com. Hello, Maureen. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us, you had a town hall meeting involving Congressman Dave Brat down in the 7th District. Is that correct?
That is correct. He held his town hall down in Blackstone, Virginia, which is in Nottoway County.
Okay. And why did you demand a town meeting? Why did you want this?
Well, I actually voted for Dave back in 2014. He campaigned on the stance that he would be more accessible to his constituents, and he is Mr. Town Hall, as we call him here in the 7th District. So I knew that he would be having a town hall. I just didn't know when. And when I called his office in Glen Allen, I got straight to voicemail. So I called his D.C. office, and they said that they don't have access to his calendar. So I knew that was either a lie or they're just highly disorganized.
And so you had some difficulty in getting this meeting called.
Correct. Yes, and it was myself and several of my friends who had been calling daily to find out when the next town hall would be.
And have you been involved in politics before? Are you a professional political activist, or?
No, this is all new to me. I've only been involved since January 26th is the day that I started the town hall page, or the Virginia 7th District town hall page on Facebook. And that was really out of frustration and at Mr. Bratt and his staffers just not being forthright in letting us know what the schedule is as far as his town halls are concerned. And also because I could not afford to take out a full page ad, which was my original idea. So Facebook was a lot cheaper.
Mm-hmm. So the Facebook group came out of the effort to force Congressman Bratt to hold a town meeting.
Correct. Yes.
And what were some of the issues you wanted to address at this meeting?
Well, primarily the issue with the ACA. We have a lot of people here in the 7th District that rely on the Affordable Care Act for their insurance coverage. For myself, really, I also was concerned about the mental health parity provision within the ACA. If you repealed the ACA, would that go away? You know, there's a lot of issues. There was also issues with the education system, with Betsy DeVos coming in and wanting to dismantle our public schools. You know, there's a lot of issues. Immigration, energy, clean energy, gun violence, you name it.
And were your issues addressed? Do you think the meeting was successful? Did you achieve? What did you achieve?
We got a lot of the same rhetoric and the same stump speeches that we had heard before with Mr. Bratt. So nothing was really mesmerizing. Although he did admit that he does not believe in the separation of church and state. So that was really great that we were able to get him on the record because he just would not answer the question saying that he did believe in separation of church and state.
Okay. And what's next? What's next for the group?
We're going to continuing asking Mr. Bratt questions. We're going to continue pushing to know when the next town hall meeting is. We want transparency on his website and better communication between the constituents and our congressmen. You know, if we're going to have somebody represent us, we want somebody actually representing the the entire whole, not the small minority of people who ended up, through gerrymandering, winning the election. So we're going to keep on keeping on.
Were you inspired by any national organizations? What about this thing, the Indivisible Guide? Did that play any influence in you organizing or being involved in this event?
Me personally, not at all whatsoever. I still have not yet read the Indivisible Guide. I had to Google George Soros after Dave Pratt accused me of being paid by him. He's also accused me of having worked with his opponent's campaign last year. I never met Eileen Bedell until much later after getting involved in all of this. This is strictly just me being really frustrated with the situation at hand and really feeling like the people are not being heard.
I understand, and I think that's really what's taking place across the country. Virginia is in a unique situation in the fact that you guys have elections coming up this year for your state legislature.
We do.
You plan to be involved in that?
I am, and I'm actually starting to just now get involved. I live in the 68th district, which is extremely convoluted. If you look at a map of the 68th district, it takes up parts of Chesterfield, Henrico, and the city of Richmond. I'm helping Sheila Bynum-Coleman with her campaign as far as marketing is concerned. She is the first African-American and first African-American female to run in the 62nd district.
Okay.
And her opponent, Riley Ingram, she ran against him last year, and she was the first to run against him. He had been unopposed for over 25 years. So we have a lot of people in the House of Delegates who just have been unopposed for decades, and people have really woken up and started to get involved.
Well, that's fantastic, and I hear you mentioning a number of female candidates. There's a lot of talk that a lot of these town hall meetings and demand for them flow from the Women's March that was held right after Trump's inauguration. Is your group composed mostly of women?
It is, and actually that's what inspired me. I went to Washington and marched that day and was really inspired. I felt like that's where I got my call to action to call my local representative. And in that march and on that day, that's how I learned a little bit more about how best to affect change nationally by focusing locally.
Well, it sounds like you're doing a good job, Maureen. One last thing before I let you go. I know Dave Pratt got in some hot water making the assertion, complaining that, quote, these women are up in my grill. Do you plan to stay in his grill?
Absolutely. Several of my friends and I are actually about to start a podcast in the near future, and the title or the name of our podcast is going to be called In Your Grill, and we will be featuring different menu items to talk about. So,
oh, that's fantastic.
Look forward to that.
That's fantastic. Keep me updated on it. We're gonna definitely listen to that and maybe cover that too. Thank you for your time,
Wonderful.
and we appreciate all the work you're doing, Maureen.
Thank you so much, Dean.
All right. Well, this is Dean Hunter for another episode of Resist TV. Thank you for joining us.